Good morning, dear ones. I am Paulio the Arcturian, here of service to humanity, the ascending ones, and of service to the sovereignty of my country, Australia. Right now, we are under attack by evil, dark forces. We have been in a drought for many years, forced upon us by chemtrailing. Our current government is seeking financial balance so that we are not under the whim of the world banks and indebted financially. This and the royal commissions into the banking system has portrayed grave danger to the agenda of the dark ones. The chemtrailing, which can be found on many sites, is a part of the geoengineering program of our planet. The exchange of an artificial environment over the natural environment. And there are those that are saying that we need to chemtrail in order to protect ourselves from our own sun, which is supposedly causing global warming. Those that are fully aware of the agenda know that this is not true. The chemtrailing, of which there are many patents for, has caused the continual drought and it's caused the patterns that have been required to create lightning to start these fires. Our farming has been severely impacted, as with our water supplies. And now with these fires, our water supplies are being drained. Our natural wilderness, the plants, the animals, the diversity of the species of our country is being destroyed. No legitimate, caring, loving, compassionate entity or person does such a thing. By nature, human beings operate from the boundaries of love and unconditional regard. The people that are orchestrating this contempt of our sovereign human rights are barely human and put profit above all things. There are many documentaries on the chemtrailing. One particular one which is very good, and I will put the link on the bottom of this video, is called Why in the World Are They Spraying? And this video documentary goes for an hour and a quarter. They explain a great deal in this video about the corporate profits and the manipulation of the financial systems through the manipulation of weather. And by destroying our own farming and our economies, having the remnants of fire and smoke clouding our cities, harming the health of our people, it is all to create suffering, pain, and hardship, which feeds into the low vibration of the evil ones, who are third dimensional, low vibrational creatures. No one in their right mind does this to their fellow human beings. The chemtrails form a metal sheet in our stratosphere, and they are manipulated via the jet streams through the HARP system. And we have an advanced HARP system in Exmouth in Western Australia. And I believe that there is another installation elsewhere in Australia. This HARP system, high altitude aero radio frequency program, I might be wrong with the acronym there, sprays a very high frequency into our ionosphere, and it superheats the ionosphere up to a 30-mile wide area to around 2000 degrees and expands that part of our atmosphere away from the planet, creating a vacuum. And this alters the jet stream so that they can control the highs and the lows and manipulate the full effect of the chemtrails in the stratosphere. This metal sheet that's created deflects the sun's radiation. It reduces at least 20% of the photosynthesis happening on the planet, and it also traps the heat that's being emitted from the planet, thereby heating it up. And I believe that it is also destroying parameters of the stratosphere that are designed to block certain spectrums from the sun. And so we have more dangerous spectrums hitting the Earth, and this is having a microwave effect on the ground and drying the ground out further. And then the evaporation rises to the stratosphere where the chemtrails are, and the chemtrail particulates bind the water molecules and carry them offshore where you get torrential rains. And throughout spring, you could clearly see all of the water clouds directly surrounding our whole country, while there is supposedly no clouds or very little within the landmass of Australia, but you keep seeing so-called clouds flying through the skies and dissolving. and we have a pale blue sky, not a deep, dark blue sky, how it should be. The pale blue is because the chemtrails are completely dispersed and dissolved in our atmosphere, and this is what's causing the pale blue colours. Ahead of cold fronts, we've got super bright white clouds that are leading the cold fronts. I believe this is to slow them down, to prevent them from entering too far within the landmass of our country, Australia. And they may also be contributing to creating friction. And remember that a lot of these chemtrails at least have aluminium, strontium, and boron mixed in with whatever other chemicals are in those particular patents. And there's many different types of chemtrails. They come in all forms, which creates confusion so that people don't really understand what they're looking at. I believe that these super white, bright, defined clouds, as they pass through our atmosphere, they create friction. These are metal oxides, creating friction, which charges these metal oxide clouds up. And of course, with all the metal contaminants that have dropped down and hit the earth, makes the ground more conductive. And then we get lightning. Once the potential difference is strong enough, we get mass lightning strikes, and this is what's causing the fires. The tinderbox that's created by droughting the country first, and then following it through with the second wave of destruction with fires. And then someone, somewhere, from somewhere will come with a solution. Or they will sell us equipment to deal with the situation and become richer. And the government will have to loan money to support the people in need and put us into debt and enslavement to the world banks. Our intelligence community, I just pray to God that they are still independent. Because if they are working with this agenda, they will inevitably be sacrificing themselves also. The agenda will only use them until they are no longer required. It is up to our intelligence community to start diverting their efforts into proving the chemtrailing. All you have to do is take a plane to the sky and analyze the medium or mediums that the clouds are made out of or are composed of, because it is not pure condensation. And then we can look at where they're coming from, because something is spraying them into the stratosphere. Now, we all know that they use large passenger planes that have been specially kitted out with the chemtrail generators fitted inside. There's no chairs inside these big, massive planes. They're just kitted out with chemtrail generators. But they also shoot rockets from sea vessels into the stratosphere, and they explode and spray. And I'm pretty certain that they have seagoing vessels that are just pumping this stuff out through chimneys, and they've got the molecular weight of these nanoparticulates just right so that they rise and float in the stratosphere. The technology is huge. I've been doing this for 40 years. At least 40 years I've been playing around with this phenomena. And then we can follow the money trail, because it's the money trail that will find its way to the perpetrators. This is a condition of being within Revelations. A third world war is not permitted, especially a nuclear war, and all of the governments around the planet are fully aware of this. There will be consequences by entities outside of this world. And this may sound like kooky stuff. Well, you only need to do your research into Area 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, and 58 in Nevada, where they're harboring Anunnaki, Zeta Reticula, and the Tall Whites. There is interviews with people that have regularly come across these extraterrestrial beings. You only have to listen to Stephen Greer. And if I remember rightly, he is ex-CIA. And then you can listen to Paul Hellyer. He is an ex-Defence Minister of Canada. They both bluntly talk about their knowledge of extraterrestrials, particularly those three species. It is very, very real. We will have extraterrestrial disclosure this year. And following that, when the timing is right, once humanity can accept that ETs are not here to overtake and destroy us, that is what the Dark Ones put out through their movies to keep you scared, then all of the rest of the benevolent species, which there are hundreds of, there are only a few hostile species, and they just seem to harbour them over there in Nevada. The rest of the benevolent species are here to assist us, but we must prepare ourselves first, mentally, spiritually, and psychologically. And there truly is nothing to be concerned about. They're already in our skies if you go out and have a look, especially after midnight. Go take a good look and sit out and watch the sky for an hour. You will see some very interesting things. They're already here. They've been here for a long while now. And now it's time to accustom yourselves to this phenomena, because we are not alone in the universe. I can certainly attest to this. And I don't put myself here to look like some sort of freak. Someone has to come out and say it. Someone has to come out and lead the way. And in the next short period of time, of our lifetimes, what I'm saying will come to pass. So these benevolent extraterrestrials are not permitting nuclear war. That is not going to happen. But the dark ones are still pursuing their agenda of ultimate power and control, manipulation of humanity, and to keep us in sickness and in boredom. They're already manipulating the financial system. We are all strapped for money, finances. We're already cornered. And the UN has already spoken back in the 90s about how we must reduce world population because we can't feed the world population. Well, with the chemtrailing, with the reduction of photosynthesis, with the aluminium in the chemtrails that restricts and stresses plants out and slows down their growth, well, now we do have a reduction in our ability to feed the world population because they are creating it. And these conglomerates, of course, have a huge financial advantage. I call the monetary system the Luciferian system because it was always created in the first place to make us compete with each other. Not to be in unity. Unity with each other. Instead, we fight, we go to war, we seldom accept each other. And we're always trying to get money out of one another. And of course, when you've got a Luciferian monetary system, then the dark ones can manipulate it to gain great wealth and be able to pay for these geoengineering programs. I call upon all of humanity to set aside our differences. None of us are immune to these programs of the few. And the UN has said that we must reduce world population and used excuses as to why. And what's the reason behind that? It's because a dramatically reduced global population is much easier to control and manipulate. It's pure evil. And there are many in the know that we are living inside revelations right here, right now. And that these fires that are here in Australia must occur as part of the global benevolent agenda, because what comes beyond these fires is truth. When people become aware of how they've been manipulated and made to suffer, those that are doing this to us will be taken down from power. And we will learn a great lesson. We will learn that we all master attributes and abilities in its own right, and we will learn to use each other's gifts in unity to create a better world. And this is why these dire forecasts need to be fulfilled at this present time through this time of revelations. Revelation started back in August 2017 with the solar eclipse that crossed the nation of America. And there is another one that crosses over the original solar eclipse in April of 2024. This marks the end of Revelations, and the dark ones are fighting hard to destroy what they can to manipulate control and power. Everything that I've said here, you can do your research. There's lots of information on everything that I have explained here. I am a way shower, an empath, a starseed, and my sole purpose here on Earth, along with many millions of us now, closing in on 6 million across the planet. We are all doing our part, and that 6 million incidentally is rising by thousands every day as people wake up to their sovereign selves and their sixth sense and their intuition. And eventually that 6 million will turn into 100% of us. Once we get close to that figure, we are all ascending as fifth dimensional beings. But do your research, and you can validate what I'm saying by looking into the facts and the metaphysics and operating from your heart space. You cannot do this with only your intellectual capacity. It is important to do this through your heart. I will leave this with you now, dear ladies and gentlemen, my comrades of the human species. I bless you all. Please visit my website at arcturian.com.au. My Facebook, Arcturian12D, which I'm in the process of doing some more with. And this YouTube channel, please like, subscribe, and share. And let's get this message abound. It's time to rise in our sovereignty, in our power, in our being. Bless you and namaste.